It's time for another drunk movie recap. Today's episode is... This is the Drunk Goonies movie review. I'm your host, Craig McFarlane. So what happens is there's this group of hooligans who are in this housing complex that people want to turn into a golf course. So it really sucks because they're all about to move and they're literally like within days of moving. And some of them don't know where they're moving to, which is ridiculous because if you've got 2 days to get the fuck out of this place, you know where you're going. So, what was I telling? Oh, right, okay. So, they're at their homes. They all slowly show up at one point. Dada shows up and goes, "I gotta play the Mission Impossible music!" Oh! And he zip lines across and crashes through the door. And Chunk shows up and they're like, "We're not letting you in without doing the truffle shuffle." And he's like, so truffle shuffle comes in. And they're all there, and then this, like, Mexican housekeeper shows up, and they're like, "Who knows how to speak Mexican?" Corey Feldman's all like, "I know how to speak Mexican, I can help you out." And they're like, "That's so sweet of you." And he tells, like, inappropriate things to, like, drugs are kept in this drawer, drugs are kept in that drawer. If you don't do it right, then you're gonna be, like, Mexican cockroach up your ass. I don't know. I don't really speak Spanish, so I don't really know what happened. So then they're talking, and then they go up to the attic, which Mikey and James Brolin's dad is a museum person. So they have all these cool artifacts up there, including a treasure map, as every museum person has up there in their attic, a treasure map. And they're like, "Oh, it's One-Eyed Willie." And so they're like, "We can go after this treasure and solve the case." And they're like, "No, that's not gonna happen." So then they're downstairs and they decide, "We're gonna do it." So they go to James Brolin and they put his exercise equipment around his chair and gets him stuck. Mikey, why would you do this to me? So then they go after the treasure on their bike. But first they take James Brolin's Tyler and like release the air. And it's like, "Oh no, that's the end of that story now. We don't have to deal with him." So they go after the treasure. Eventually James Brolin gets out of the chair and goes after them, but his bike's stolen. So he goes on this little Asian girl who goes, "I want my bike, I want my bike, I want my bike, I want my bike, I want my bike, my bike, my bike, my bike." So they hop on the bike thing, go after him, and so then they go after him. And eventually, he's riding along, James Brolin, and this car shows up with this douchebag. I don't remember his name. But Andy and Steph are in the car, and he really likes Andy. So the douchebag dude, like, grabs James Brolin's bike and, like, makes him go flying off this cliff, which probably should have killed him, but it's a kid's movie, so it's like, "You're good, never mind." Which Andy and Steph go after him. I don't know why Steph goes after him, because Steph kind of seems like she would have done douchebag dude to be popular. So they go after him. They find this place, this pizza parlor. Turns out to be run by these Fratelli brothers and mama lady, who are bad guys, who've killed people. Then they discover this weird freakish like thing in the basement that turns out to be Sloth. Hey you guys! So they go to the prison, and by prison I mean they go to the basement, and there's a cooler there, and they save somebody. They don't save anybody. I don't know what they mean by that. They find a cooler there with a freezer. A cooler has a freezer in it, and it has a dead body in it. So they discover the dead body and like, "Shit, son, what is this about?" And then all of a sudden, Chunk, for some reason, ends up pushing the body back in. Chunk gets stuck in the freezer. So everybody else goes into the basement. The Fratelli shows up. So Chunk's stuck in the basement, bathroom, shelter, freezer thing, with the dead body. It's like, "Ah, shit, son." And the Fratelli show up after. No, Fratellis don't. The Fratelli show up. So the people go to the basement, but Chunk decides to escape to go find the cops. But decides to like hitchhike and finds the Fratellis. The Fratelli stops him and goes, "What?" So the Fratelli stop him. Say, "What? Okay, we found you." So Fratelli's trying to figure out what's going on, and meanwhile, the whole gang go into the basement, trying to find things, find the treasure, to save their housing. The Fratellis question Chunk and like threaten him, put his hand in the blender. You don't really kill him though because it's a kids movie. That would not be cool, right? So they're traveling down. Eventually they find out about the hole. So they go down into the basement. They go into the basement. And then Chunk meets Sloth, and Chunk and Sloth go into the basement because everybody's on their little rat race adventure. They find a, like, skeleton key after all these booby traps, which were fun and exciting. But they found the skeleton, like, keyboard, which Andy has to play. Like, oh no, let's bring in her skills they mentioned earlier. So Andy plays the piano, and the Fratellis are showing up, but they manage to make it. So they make it through. Fratellis make it through. They keep all going. Then they go down these water slides, which I think should be a theme park. So they go through the theme park, water park, and they ride this pool. And there's a pirate ship. Then they get attacked by an octopus, which was only shown in deleted scenes and referenced in the finale. Not important though. But an octopus attacks them. Data, ooh, Ichaman uses his, like, not his penis, his giga pool, some music track thing to release him. So they go onto this not music ship. What are we on? A pirate ship. They go on a pirate ship. They use their, like, cool skills on there. They find the treasure, but then the Fratellis show up. They fight him off, it's bad, and then Sloth and Chunk show up. And then Sloth fights the Fratellis. And then they leave, and they fall off the ship, and like, oh no, all's lost. Then they try to escape, and then they use dynamite, which they thought was candles, which blows up the wall. They go out the wall is to the beach. They go to the beach, and eventually the police show up. The Popo shows up, all is good, all is lost, and then the Spanish Mexican maid looks in one of Mikey's pockets and finds marbles. And what? It's gems, not marbles. So what happens is that it goes, I'm not gonna sign today, never, ever! Woo! And the Goonies save the frickin' day. Goonies live out, peace, Goonies say never to say die. Goonies never say die. What?